Steve Harvey was in like April, and I auditioned for American Idol in November, but that wouldn't have been aired until like the following March.
Yeah.
So I think it was in between there.
That's a crazy origin story.
Yeah,
That is insane.
it's kind of insane.
Okay, so then Idol happens, and you
Yeah.
did all that where it was like very quick, and
Yeah.
you sang in Oregon, and
Yeah.
then you ended up doing the live shows from your backyard.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening? What was the
like
timeline?
we all flew to LA in March for like live shows. So like, yeah, so we all get flown out to LA. The top 20's in LA. Nobody knows that yet. Like I think they were still on like the Hawaii episode airing it out to people.
Right.
But we obviously filmed some stuff beforehand, and then by the time we actually filmed the live shows, because we have to rehearse and practice and everybody has to get situated.
Yeah.
Like by the time like you're like by week 3, they've aired other episodes and now you're finally at live shows and it's done live. So everyone gets flown out. We're like learning the way it works, doing our vocal lessons, like getting our songs ready, yada, yada, yada. And then like by the end of the week, they were like, everyone's getting sent home. Like there's a pandemic or something. And obviously we were like, what? This is a joke. Like nobody knew what COVID was like the first week. And everyone was like, oh, it's like a 2-week break. And then obviously ends up being a thing. So then they end up, this period of my life was a nightmare. So my mom worked in healthcare at a dementia care home. And so I couldn't go to my mom's house. Meanwhile, I'd been living with my mom like pretty much full time for like 3 years. And so my dad lived an hour away from where my mom lived with his girlfriend at the time. And
We can unpack.
and so I had to go stay with them and live at their house. And then American Idol like shipped music equipment, iPhone speakers, tripods, decorations, like fuck-ass candles, like a bunch of shit just to film at your house. And so I'm like, I haven't lived at my dad's house for like 3 years. Can't see my mom because she works with old people. And my mom
Right.
was like, absolutely not. This is like, these are the rules. And so then we basically start filming, and we had to do like a Zoom call with the producers and show them your house. And then they obviously saw like the lake in the background, and they were like, oh, let's do it on the deck. And so everyone else was filming it like in their bedroom or like all these places. We were having to move all this equipment inside and outside every day because we can't just, well, first of all, it could get stolen. But second of all, like, what if it rains? Like, I'm from Canada, so like the weather's like very up and down.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ended up having to film the whole thing like outside.
How many weeks did you like do that for?
That's a great question.
Okay. Somebody knows.
Multiple, right?
Honestly, I remember being there for like, I had to have been there for like 2 months. Like, because I feel like I remember like getting flown back and then there being like this like 1 to 2 week period of like no one knew what was happening. And we were like, are we going to get flown back? And then they were like, okay, no, now we're doing this. We're shipping everything overnight, figuring out what we were doing and then filming stuff. And then, yeah. But
No, I mean, and you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but I feel like there was a little bit of drama maybe with your team about like, you didn't live with your dad, and then all of a sudden you had this
Oh my
gorgeous
God,
lake
bro.
house when everyone else is like in a bedroom, and how that like impacted how you were viewed.
yeah, I'm like this, and this is like not American Idol's fault, like whatsoever.
Yeah.
I was like so enraged about this because I remember people like messaging me from my hometown being like, you're pretending like your family doesn't have money, but like clearly on American Idol, like there's a lake in your background. And I'm like, meanwhile, like where my mom and I were living, like my mom was like sleeping on a pull-out couch and my brother was sleeping in like these, like a closet room. Like I don't even think you could classify that room as an office. That's how small it was. And then there was like one small bedroom, tile floor, like unfinished. Like we were living in our friend's basement because they're the best people ever. Yeah. Shout out Kelly, love you. And like our family friends, and they gave us like rent for cheap. And my mom's like making chili every Monday so we can eat it like every day for lunch and dinner because we had no money. And then like, meanwhile, then all of a sudden I'm on TV and like I'm at my dad's house and like it looks like I live at the lake.
Yeah. So everyone just.
And I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Which I mean, there is an element to like, not to like out everybody, but like, you know, just because somebody drives a nice car doesn't mean they have money. You
That's
know what
true.
I mean? Like,
Right.
And like as a kid, I feel like I didn't really understand that. Like, I don't really know what my dad's financial situation was then.
Right.
But like, I'm assuming they were probably living above their needs, and like also they were not. My dad was never driving a Ferrari and like doing all this crazy stuff. But like, sure as hell, we're living in a way better situation than what me, my mom, and my brother were living in. And you know, it's not like my dad was paying money to my mom or anything like that. So
Wow, that must have been difficult, like emotionally, as like a teenager, being like, "Oh, I'm doing this thing with my dad, and I'm not as close with him."
triggering.
I'm sure.
I remember the show, and I was so stressed out. Like, there was just so much going on. Like, we're filming American Idol. I'm like, oh my God,
There's a
what's
pandemic,
the fate of
like
my
a
future?
global,
Yeah, like there's a pandemic. I haven't seen my mom, and my mom's like my best friend. I see my mom every day, all the
Yeah.
time. My mom, the only reason my dad actually came with me to LA for like a week, and then my mom was gonna come the other week. And the only reason he came was because my mom couldn't come. And I remember like finally, when I actually feel really bad about this because it's kind of rude, but I remember like wanting to get kicked off the show so I could go back to my mom's. Like all my stuff is there. Like I was still living with like all the stuff that I just randomly packed
Yeah.
to LA that one time. Like all of my stuff, all of my things, like all of my friends, like everyone I know is like in a completely different place. Like my brother's there. And I remember like getting kicked off the show, and within like 3 hours after getting kicked off, like I already had all my bags packed, and I was like texting my mom being like, please come get me. Like,
Oh, that's a real win-win, I guess.
and I wasn't
pick
old
me
enough.
up.
I didn't have like a license. Like I didn't have anything. So it wasn't like I
Right.
could like drive anywhere or like do anything or like, you know,
Right.
I was just like stuck in a house with people.
Okay, I just thought of an interesting question. I think maybe, or not at all,
Yeah.
actually. I just saw the other day that Benson Boone and Katy Perry reconnected for the first time, like post Idol.
yeah.
And I was going to ask you if, like, you know, since your career has taken off like so much since Idol, like, have you found yourself in a room with any of the judges or any of the guests?
Yeah. Okay, well, so I performed on American Idol like a couple months ago.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so then I saw her, and I was like, they're definitely not going to remember me, like, right?
Please.
And I remember actually, I was just like walking through like the trailers or whatever to like go back to mine. And then Katy Perry was like, Lauren Spencer Smith. And I didn't realize it was her. I thought it was like a crew member. Because like what was so great about going back is all the same people, a lot of them still worked there. And I
Yeah.
obviously remembered all of them, and like I worked really closely with them. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I just thought this was like another crew person. And she was just wearing like runners, and like I just remember her being tall because I think she was wearing heels all the time.
Yeah.
Or like was definitely seated above me. And she was wearing like a hat, and then it took me like 5 seconds into a conversation with her to be like, oh wait, this is Katy Perry.
Right.
Oh, that's really cool.
Because she was so like normal and casual and cool that I was like, oh well, this can't be Katy Perry. And then I was like, wait, this is Katy Perry. And then I was like, wait, you looked iconic at the iHeart with that
Yeah.
mesh.
Oh,
Like
she
black
always,
dress,
she always
like you're
looks
throwing it
incredible.
Did you
down.
grow up like being a big fan of Katy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I thought it was so cool. And she was super nice to me. And she was like, wow, isn't it so cool? Like, all of the dreams you wanted when you were on the show, like, have like all come true.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
that's
sweet.
really
very
cute.
sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't see Lionel or Luke backstage. I obviously only saw them when I like went out to
Yeah.
perform. But I love Luke Bryan. I love country music. So I really wanted to see him. But
You don't strike me as a country music fan.
That is a little surprising.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Well, so like Canada, where I'm from, like everyone listens to country music.
Oh, let's go.
It's like-
okay.
Yeah. Like I've seen a lot of country music artists.
Have you heard that song that everyone's talking about right now?
I like good old fashioned
Yes.
country music.
Music something with a beat. I like it something man with Luke Cage is on his feet.
Dude, I walk around my house singing that all
It's
the time.
so
What is her
good.
name is Gabriella, I think, the singer.
Yes, yeah.
That song is such a hit.
Banger.
So good.
Like an unbelievable smash.
Ooh, double
I would do.
It's so good. Like, what a smash.
It's so cool because I feel like we've had a little bit of a dry spell of like really amazing songs that
Country.
I've discovered like on TikTok, especially in the
Yeah.
country
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
And that one, I'm just like, yeah, thank you.
she's good.
yeah.
Yeah,
I also really love like the Ella Langley, excuse me.
Of course.
Look like you love me. But I love Luke Combs. I love Thomas Rhett. Oh my God, when you guys sung with Thomas Rhett, I was like,
He's a good one to love.
I was
He's
on the
so
floor.
nice.
I love him. Like, I could die a happy man. Like, yeah, everyone where I live like loves country music. Like, it was known for
Wow.
like the small town that I'm originally from. There's that lake that my dad lived on, and it would be like everyone just goes to the lake and like listens to country music.
wow.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love the lake.
Yeah, we love the lake.
The American Idol lake, the famous
Yeah.
lake.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
famous lake.
Thanks so much for watching this clip from our podcast, Counter-Melodies.
If you'd like to watch the full episode, be sure to click the link in the description.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye, guys.